Hi guys. 1 second. I'm getting ready to go nowhere, even though it's a Friday, but I've got stuff I'm figuring out in life. Oh, the hair. I know it looks bad, like it's not even by any means, but I also haven't like styled it. And I did it myself with craft scissors because I don't know why. I was like, what would the choice be if I had like free will, and then that's what I did. I was like, this is just what I would do if I like felt like free will exist like a lot more than right now. But like I don't not feel that way, but like, well, because I did that, because I cut my hair. I wasn't gonna feel that way otherwise. I'm gonna put on this like little shirt over this other outfit I'm wearing. Also, fun ways that women's clothes are styled, guys. So, yeah, I don't know if men's clothes are like that, but like also, are you a man? You're probably a woman. I don't know what you are, but how are, like, it's so funny because you're just like, okay, yeah, so I think my head goes in here, arm in here, and then it's like, you know what I'm saying? Then you're like, okay, so everything seems like it's in the right spot, I guess. Oh yeah, it's super tight too. Wait. So you have to kind of like, that's the one thing I don't like about this shirt. Like maybe I would have got a different size if I knew what size I was on the website, but I didn't know. How was I gonna know? It's kind of like I never ordered stuff from there before. Okay, let's see. Let's pretend that I'm not already wearing it when we put this on and see if it works, because I'm not wearing it. Okay, it's gonna work way better that way. It's not like I can really suck in, it's my ribs that has to go over, basically. It's not like hard material, but yeah, okay. Well, I did wear a bra under it, which maybe makes this difficult to wear. Yeah, because it now looks kind of dumb. But like, I've only worn this like one time. So, okay. Does mess up how it's supposed to look in a way, but can you tell? I don't think it's actually that messed up to you. I think only because I know, then it looks weird. But if you don't know, then I don't think it's totally gonna get damaged to you. Like this little top, it's like, what is it made out of? It's all one piece. Yeah, okay, this looks like kind of funny, but it works. See, if I weren't wearing anything under it, or a bra under it, then I would be not really naked. The nipple wouldn't be like all the way at the top, but like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of fun. It's kind of good this way. What do you think? Well, I kind of like that the gray looks like there's so much like extra material in it. It's not like baggy, but like, I think that part looks weird, but that's kind of like more intentional weird, but like as long as you can see like the gray under it, because yeah. I kind of like it because it looks like I don't know what I'm doing, and that's funnier. It's more fashionable in a way to me for it to be that way. Also, my phone might die at any moment, so I'm just gonna like charge it and then like bring you back to life because you died. Well, you're not my phone, but you know, the part of you that died, we're just gonna bring back to life when that happens. Okay. I'm just gonna brush my teeth and get ready and do my hair, and we'll see. There's not a lot of ways I can style it, but obviously when I just wake up, it's like crazier. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I like the way that it feels to me, but like, obviously I'm just gonna grow it out after this. So, yeah. Also, I still have some proximity to like losing my voice because like of how I was sick and stuff. Also, I think I still have a job because all I did was get sick and then not have a doctor's note yet. But I have to figure out, like, when I called doctor's offices, they were closed to try to get one through, like, the app on the fucking thing, you know, to get health insurance. I mean, I have health insurance. To use health insurance, I think you know what I mean. Yeah. So, I just found it way more difficult than if you were designing all of those things and wanted it to like help people. Like, I'm assuming now, I think the funny thing is people can be like, oh yeah, they're out to get you. Not that that's not true. There's ways that they're out to get you, but I think you forget who has all the brain cells, and the one realizing this is harder than expected has all the brain cells. The other one thinks they helped is, I think, part of the confusion of the planet. They all think they helped. It's just, can they explain exactly what they did to help? Even though nobody's ever noticed that they can't. But like, you know, people just assume, oh, like they're definitely super greedy and like they just wanted to hurt you. Can they really put it into a sentence like what they did to help you? Even though nobody's realized they can't, but they can't. Can they really explain to you how this app is easy to use? Even though it's so successful out there that people are using it and have no other choice. Are they, you know, successful only by the proximity of people having no other options? Or can they actually like put into a sentence like what they did that helped, that was good? It's not, you know, the one finding out, oh, this isn't easy, is the only smart one ever. Some people think maybe people are keeping things to themselves. If they were keeping something to themselves, they would have said it by now, because then they would have found out, like, what they believe to be true doesn't make any sense. Nobody's questioning it. Ever. Like, they're not around energy that facilitates people questioning it. People can only talk about things that they've sort of grown through, or energy that they've personally faced or that they're facing right now. They can only work on how do I work through this type of energy when it's the direct force guiding them or forcing them into whoever they're becoming. Most of it's just not our choice. Physical circumstance is only a vice so that we believe that we understand the energy we're feeling, because the energy was going to be there either way, and we were just going to be very confused if we had no method of determining what's actually happening. In any way. So, yeah, it's just, you know, so good out there. I don't know what is, but something is probably so good out there in the world. What is that? That scared me. It's literally just, like a TikTok notification. It scared me so much. I was like, what is happening? But like, I couldn't even see what it was. So, that was so scary, actually. I like the hair being different because I like that the hair was what I cut myself. What did I just even say? What I meant was that the hair being cut, because the hair being so long, it's like if you have long hair, that long hair is protecting you, using all of the memories and experiences you had during the time that you grew out that hair. But when you cut the hair, you're actually, it's not that I'm like not to be like protected by the hair, because then that sounds like I didn't want that, as if it was like self-harm, but it's not, right? What I meant about that's like good is that sometimes the ways that the structures of your memories form, when you keep the hair, it's like you're almost being protected by something you don't really need anymore. but in a way that might be harming you or getting in your way or weighing you down. Because what you're doing is you're keeping what you thought protected you with the structures of the memories from the past. Yeah. So I understand why I could come across that way, but that's not what I meant. Yeah. Anyway. There are things I really like about this haircut. Like, it feels more high fashion to me to have a haircut that's like not that good and like not well done, because when it's super well done, it's like you look like you just had money to do it that way and you're copying somebody else, which normally is what's happening a lot of the time, right? Unless you do it yourself and it doesn't look good. But that would be weird for me to say that it's always better when it doesn't look good, right? That's not what I mean. I just think it's like more high fashion because you're like, it's mysterious. Where did you do that hair? It could have been anywhere. Like, I don't know. When in reality, you just like did it yourself. It's like, did you try something new with a hairstylist, or did you do this like while you were trying to get on a train and you just like cut your hair? Like, I think what high fashion is that normally it's kind of rich people glamorizing like a more underprivileged experience. But if you're having an experience where you can't just like call somebody and be like, hey, I need my hair to be cut right now in whatever place I'm at, like just show up and then we're gonna do the thing that like mocks like not having some of those privileges in life the most, like then that would be like the high fashion thing. But if you don't already have that, then you get to just live the glamorized experience because what they want to be is you. So you can just live it up because they wish they could be you for no reason, but like you get to have the experience of them wishing they could be you. I mean, you don't really wish you could be them because they look boring, they just have money, and you're like, oh, like the good parts of that I wouldn't mind. They're looking at you like the whole thing is what they want because they can't tell the good parts from the bad parts for some reason. So they want the bad parts because they didn't even get to go through that, because that would be so high fashion to get to go through the bad parts that you went through. They would be so into that, they just didn't get it yet. So they're trying to copy you, hoping that it happens to them. It's kind of weird. Anyway, I want to see if my Starbucks is here because I did order Starbucks, so we'll find out. Okay, so I did get the Starbucks. They sent it in 2 bags, which is kind of embarrassing, right? Not really, but it's like, why did you order? Like, because it's only for me, I guess. It's not like I ordered it for like 90 different people, so then it's like, excuse exists. But it does kind of come across that way. Wait, I shouldn't put on lip gloss yet, should I? But I didn't like that my lips are chopped. This is like red, it's kind of fun. But I feel like I always put it on in like a messy way, and that's weird. Right? Like, it looks good from like far away a little bit. It's kind of funny. It's kind of off a little bit, you know? Yeah, it's not bad. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. This, weirdly, maybe because it's red, but it can't be because it's red, right? I feel like wearing red lipstick integrates like a harder part of your life, or it gives you more of that like difficult energy. It looks cool, but it's integrating like a more difficult aspect of your life when you put it on. And then when you have it on, you kind of have like the positive experience of you get to forget that you ever put it on. And it's just on, and other people look at it and they're like, oh, that looks good. But you're actually, like, it feels like the process of integrating more difficult energy into your experience, which is not what everything feels like. So noticing where that comes from, because that would be like, it's like not everybody on the entire planet has ever gotten to put on red lipstick before, right? There's like ways around that, but not everybody on the entire planet. That would be considered moderately privileged in human history to get to just have a tube of like red lip gloss and put it on. But it feels like you're integrating a more difficult part of your experience, which I find interesting, because then to have that more privileged aspect feels like you're adding more density into your reality, not what people would normally have wanted to say was true with like law of attraction, where they're like, oh, just raise your vibration and everything comes to you. Well, then that would mean that not having the opportunity to have red lipstick is at a higher vibration than having the opportunity to put on red lipstick. But then once you forget about it, you have the illusion where other people are going to be like, oh, you're experiencing this rare thing in human history that pretty much never happens, but right now it pretty much always happens because you're modern. Anyway, there's an eyelash in my eye and it's not that fun, but I think I can get it out. Okay, I got it. Anyway, let's see. I got the dragon drink. I thought about getting what was called the cannonball drink because it was like inspired by our Beast games, Mr. Beast. Does Mr. Beast know with all that money he isn't as famous as he possibly could be because he isn't using the right type of promotion? In a way. Like you could use a different form of advertisement to where people understand what you're doing, not just know you exist. Because I feel like everybody everywhere knows Mr. Beast exists, but the structure of his advertisement, I'm not gonna know, is Beast Games Mr. Beast? I mean, I think that's what he thought anybody intelligent would have known, so he isn't going to ever explain it. But that's not what advertising is, because advertising is when you explain it to the dumb ones because they were never gonna find out. Advertisement isn't just where you go get the people to tell them you exist. It's also where you assume everybody has the same intelligence level and that is 0. And then you work up from there. So just in case, Mr. Beast, you could have better advertising where you explain to the dumb ones, which are every single person that's ever existed in human history, is Beast Games Mr. Beast? Anyway, that's what the cannonball drink was apparently supposed to like be about or something, inspired by. I don't know if he's directly getting money for it. Again, if he's not, that would be kind of like they're just using his likeness, which is, I think, completely illegal in a lot of ways, but but you know, maybe that's something he would want to be the first person in human history ever to take up a lawsuit for, because he believes that that level of human rights should exist for everybody where he comes from. But, you know, you'd be the first person ever to realize, I mean, you know, at some point in human history, you would have been the first person to be like, doesn't everybody have a right to just walk into like a shopping mall and not have their hand chopped off? Well, no, they don't know what that is. So you would be so privileged if you thought that made sense. At some point in human history, you would have been the only person if you thought, isn't it weird like doctors don't exist? Like, you would have been so weirdly privileged. They would have probably killed you for even figuring it out, because they would have been like, what are you talking about? Like, no one knows what that is. Like, you're not normal. So, yeah. Why? They put so much ice in this drink, but I couldn't tell, because it doesn't look like it. Somehow, I literally was like, drinking through the straw. Every time I try to do it, nothing comes up because somehow there's only air down here, which you would never know. You would have never guessed. I would have never guessed. There's only air down there where the straw is. Like, no liquid is like inside the straw. Still, I'm not kidding. Like, yes, I'm doing it correctly. Like, there's no liquid inside the straw. Oh, there's a giant hole in the straw. Never mind. That's probably because I kind of broke it, I guess. I wanted it to fit in this little thing. Never mind. You're a genius if you saw that coming though, because I really did kind of bend it, but I wanted it to fit in the tiny hole. Whatever. Starbucks could work on that though, because it's like a narrow hole and the straw is a circle, but the circle straw is bigger than like the very narrow hole. It is what it is, but like something could be different. Something could be like a little different, you know? But yeah, I did not end up getting the cannonball drink because the base of the drink is lemonade, but I got this with coconut milk, and that's way better. Why would I not want coconut milk? That comes from a coconut. It just seems way better. For no reason, but it just seems way better, like, doesn't it? Like, who knows why it comes from a coconut? It just does. There's milk inside of a vegetable or a fruit or something. It's kind of weird. Anyway, I did get another drink because I didn't know what to get. Which is maybe not what somebody who's like trying to keep their job should like. Why am I ordering like so many different drinks, right? Why am I ordering so many? Weird. Okay, so I got, this is a short hot pistachio cortado, and I don't know what cortado means. It's just supposed to be like one of those coffee words where I think everybody pretends to know what they mean. I think everyone's pretending. I think no one wants to admit that they're also pretending. So they become so like specialized in their interest of coffee and how to explain it, but at the end of the day, I think they don't know what that means because I don't know what that means. And I know it's possible for you to just know something I don't know, but like coffee just seems like something people pretend to understand, but like I don't understand. So I'm assuming you're just pretending to understand. And that's like your thing, is that you pretend to understand if you have like a coffee place. So anyway, it's a blonde espresso, coconut milk, and it's extra hot because I ordered it online and I don't want it to be like cold by the time it gets here. Like that would be weird. So I don't know if this is gonna be good. It's pistachio flavored. It's also tiny. Kind of cute, right? Kind of cute. Okay. This is really good. It is pretty good. It's kind of like if you, if somebody were at like a meeting with like a record label or something, I feel like this is like the drink they would order because it's tiny. It makes you seem mysterious and like you're exotic. Like, are you from Paris or are you from Egypt? We don't know, but the drink is tiny. You're not American. If you get this, that's like super American, right? This is like, I don't know, you could be from anywhere, but it's mysterious and we don't know why. We don't know why this is the only drink you needed or ordered. But it is espresso, so if you had more. Is it espresso? Yes, it's blonde espresso. If it were espresso, it is espresso. Anyway, it's sort of like, yeah. Sorry, I was just realizing that not everybody, it was something about Christina Aguilera for no reason. I don't know why I was realizing that. But it was more so like that not everybody realizes something specific about Christina Aguilera and Eminem specifically at like the, what was it, the VMAs or the Grammys or something. Did Eminem get a Grammy ever? I don't know. Aren't the Grammys rigged and stuff? Why is the guy from TanaCon, the little dude on the Segway, why is that dude allegedly one of the guys who votes for the Grammys for like the Academy? But it's 15,000 people, so his vote isn't really gonna mean anything, but like he's supposed to think that it means something if that's true. If that's true. Anyway. I was gonna say, I was realizing, you know when Christina Aguilera has to like give that award to Eminem, but then she seems sort of like aggressive towards that in a way, like slightly, but she's there with like Britney Spears and stuff. And I think that people misunderstand that if there's any form of energy, positive or negative, that Eminem is experiencing that in that moment, she also is. And so she's presenting this award, so they're both experiencing the energy that each of them are, because they're both twin flames, which you're not gonna really want me to say because you're gonna be like, that's weird to say, because who would believe in that? But I do believe in that. But because it makes everything else make more sense. So you have to understand that, like, whatever energy she's experiencing on the stage giving the award, whether they look like it on the outside or not, or whatever energy she's actually experiencing in the moment, he also already is in the crowd, even though he's not on camera. They're both sort of experiencing the energy of her being up there about to give him this award. I don't know if it was like scripted behind the scenes, like who it goes to or whatever, but not really. But either way, you know. Yeah. They're sort of both experiencing the energy of like her being about to give him the award, but then also him receiving the award. So then when she's super annoyed, it's like they're both, she isn't cursing him in a way that she isn't also cursing herself though, even if she is bothered by him. Yeah. It's kind of weird. That was it. That was the eventful, maybe you guys didn't realize this, and it was not that interesting to me because I already knew that, but maybe it was interesting to you. But it just randomly came to my mind. I don't know why. But yeah. So. Well, what else is going on, guys? Not a lot. I got food though from there. So let's see. Oh yeah, I got a croissant. Because a croissant is a sponge that comes from Atlantis. Okay, I got a bagel. Oh yeah, I got avocado for the bagel. That's not that interesting. But I love when the bagel has sesame seeds. So fun. Yeah. Okay, I guess we can wait. I didn't even do anything. I don't want my skin to be like dry because I hate that. So I'm gonna and I didn't do my hair yet. It's gonna be like just awful. I forgot about that because I don't know. You don't want to be like ugly, but like, are those things that important? Like they are, because then I'm gonna be like, okay, I do care. But like, yeah. Let's just do that really quick. Really quick. Okay. It's just like that. And you just go like that. But then you have to rub it in so that you're not like the most yellow. I could be, what are those called? The little yellow guys with the goggles. Minions. I could be those. If I just put this on my skin and didn't wash it off. But then that's just so we don't feel like I have like dry skin and I didn't care. You know what I mean? It's like it's like do something easy so that you seem like you cared enough that it's not like awkward. Which is terrible to say, but it's true about the world. You know? It makes it seem like you guys have so much vanity, but you do. And if nobody holds your hand through the vanity that you have, you're not going to stay for very long in any one given space. And that's just true. It's just like a proven fact about you, but, you know, just people of the world, you know. You're going to go where there's vanity because the vanity makes you think there's money nearby. I just want to say, I'm so happy about where that video cut off because I realized immediately when it cut off, but I didn't get cut off with what I was saying. So I appreciate it because I think I was saying something really funny, but also really true and intelligent and stuff. And so I didn't really want that to get cut off. Yeah. Anyway. I've got my little Starbucks and I did do my hair. It looks better this way. I think a wet look for the hair is going to be better because it makes it look, it is kind of uneven. It's funny. I don't feel unattractive with the hairstyle, but I feel like I have to explain to you why I don't, which is bringing out a different side to me. That feels like what I'm supposed to explain to you, is that I don't feel unattractive with the hair even though it's not perfect. Even though I did it myself. That's what I feel like I have to explain to you, perceiving me. So then to not do that is really going to close off that part of my mind, I guess. I don't know. My psyche. I'm not going to be... Every way that you can look that's different, an era of your life and time of your life, just... You're sort of growing your mind in that exact way. I mean, as you would assume. But with albums and stuff, I even look at an old photo of myself, and if I ever use that as the sort of cover image of the album, I'm like, I feel like I'm channeling the album from my old past self, which I really, in my mind, kind of just as I was talking, you know that, I don't know what the band is called. There was that band that had that, crazy artwork, crazy image of that child, the baby or whatever in the swimming pool, like not wearing any outfit and stuff, you know? So, yeah. Is it possible in any way that they channeled the artwork from when that one dude was a baby? Like the album itself. Is it possible in any way that the album actually doesn't necessarily come from the band? It does, because they created it, but like, they're sort of channeling it from when that one dude was a baby. Which makes it more weird. Right? It was already weird. And also at the Grammys, there was this whole entire section, the 2026 Grammys, they line up all these dudes. I don't know, I saw like a clip of it after where they're asking them like what do they think the best album cover, I think it was the Grammys, but they were like, what was the best album cover of all time? A bunch of them said, that, I don't know what the album was called, but yeah, that exact album cover was the album cover that they would love to see more albums look like in the future. So you're not really into music, you just like the photos of children. And you're saying that on national television, you're willing to admit that about yourself. Because that's how strongly that's your belief form about that, because apparently, maybe that's who you are, I don't know. You said it about yourself, I don't know who the guys were, but why are you saying that about yourself? If it isn't true, who would admit that about themselves? Only somebody who it's true about, most likely. Because why would you say that? Why are you asking for more album covers with like a naked baby on there? That's not even normal. That's weird. But also it shows you how censored our culture is, because normally you feel like you can't even say those words together in any context without your head being chopped off, but at the same time, maybe that's for a reason. It's a whole thing, right? It's all weird. I think we're diligently recorded by every item that exists of technology, but at the same time, they're not catching the real ones, which is crazy. They're not catching the real ones. If they really are recording you from even your TV remote, you know what I mean? Then they're just deliberately not catching the real ones, while waiting out this entire scheme of maybe things will change. What? Maybe things will change in what direction if you're not willing to change things? What way do you want the whole world to change that you can't even admit? That's really weird. It's really disturbing, isn't it? Like, whatever. These are like crazy issues. I always hated that album cover I just, obviously, even as a child, like, I never saw it, I was never around it, but, like, when I did find out it existed, I don't know how old I was, because, like, pop culture, you find out about everything. At any age, you find out about everything. So, but I just, you know, it is shocking, it is sad, it is weird, and it's very creepy. And I think it adds to the understanding globally of how creepy this is when we remember that it is possible that they channeled the entire album, including all the words, from when that one dude was a baby. Regardless of what experiences they had on the album or while making it, it's possible that technically those words and those experiences just come from when that one dude was a baby. Or they're kind of giving those experiences to that infant, which is also a thing that people aren't really conscious of. Sometimes I think about creating an album, and I'm really the one on my covers a lot, my album covers a lot, so I'm not like, oh no, this and that, right? Like, maybe they should have been. But it just crossed my mind. I'm like, okay, yeah, so if I have, like, a child photo of myself on the cover, like, it's possible that I'm actually editing the memory in a way of that past experience in my life, that past time in my life, and I'm kind of giving this memory to my younger self of, like, well, when you were that age, this is what your experience was, even if you don't remember it that way. Like, edit the memories, and you're kind of adding memories to it. So why are they adding whatever adult experiences they had during the time of creating the album to when that one dude was a baby? That is it's a giant thing either way. But the energy of the album cover was nobody caring, which is part of why this man, when he was a baby, was able to be misused in that way, because the energy was like, nobody in the room cares. Everybody in the room thinks the world is too censored, so now when people perceive the image, they can't separate themselves from the person who is fine with it. So you have to have a very high level of intelligence to be able to separate yourself when you look at the album cover from the energy of the type of person who would be okay with that and thinks the world is too censored, which is why they get away with it for so many years. Because nobody in the room cared. Well, nobody who was in the room has ever actually sat with the concept of maybe it was wrong for like a second. People get caught when they think what they're doing is wrong. And so that's another big part of the confusion and the problem of the world. When people are completely fine with whatever they did, they don't get caught. For years and years and years, right? Or ever. Because they're still completely fine with it. So, yeah. But if it's ever crossed their mind, maybe this is wrong, and then it happens, or they do it anyways, and they do get caught, and it's obviously a complicated issue either way, but it's crazy that the ones who have never, ever conceived the idea that maybe this is wrong, it's crazy that those are the ones who, without a doubt, will get away with it. And that if you do get caught, it does indefinitely mean that at some point in time it occurred to you, independently from everything else, that what you did was wrong. But that the album cover itself promotes the energy of nothing could possibly happen to a child that's wrong and the world is too censored. So that's important to remember. It isn't just one photo. It isn't just maybe this, you know what I mean, could be a certain way. Like, yeah, because people see it and they're like, well, the world is too censored. Why do they care so much about when that one dude was a baby? Like, why do people care so much about when that one dude was a baby? It's a scary way to say it, but when you rephrase what's actually happening, you realize it is very, very, very disturbing. And that, like, you can kind of tell the mental capacity people have when they explain to you what happened. Why is the album cover wrong? Why is it fine? You can very quickly find out, like, the mental capacity they have. Because they don't care when that one dude was a baby, but if it were about them, maybe they would care. Or, like, you know, maybe if they understood the energy is actually about all children of the world, and not just the one, because the album cover itself promotes that happening to more people, not less people. And that's, like, the energy that's, like, the Trojan horse, like, blindly coming in, so that you will forget the fact that it's about other children too, not just this one person. not just this one time that it happened. It's actually, like, not just a subliminal, but it's, like, quietly whispering, like, can we have this happen to everybody and have it everywhere? So, yeah. And then there's also the categories of people who wouldn't be fine with adults making whatever content they wanted to, but if they did it of a child, they thought it would be fine. There's people who will out themselves about it because of that album cover and using that album cover to find each other. But also, they don't even know if they're actually the one who's fine with it, because when they look at the album cover, they are supposed to believe that everybody is and that the world is too censored. So people will out themselves on beliefs that they don't actually, like, it's like a portal, right? It's like a portal to get people to agree with morals they would not actually believe in because they're supposed to believe everybody does. Like, it's like a thing where, like, they could even be somebody who never would have thought of it that way, but then they see the album cover, suddenly they're fine with it. Like, you guys could really get people to out themselves just with that album cover, just nobody's trying to, because everybody who possibly could is completely fine with that album cover. Because they look at it and they can't tell if it's themselves who's fine with it or somebody else. Okay, we'll talk about something else because I said what I had to say about that. So, yeah. Also, it's like a whole thing, right? People want to be like, oh, the Epstein trial's this and that, but then they're the ones who are personally fine with that album cover. And it's like, so you just want to find out what could be done next time. You want to make sure it's all written down in stone, so maybe somebody will complete that one next time, like that, like, ritual or whatever you think it is, you know? Like, it's just low-level rituals that don't do any magic, but they think they are because they think that, like, if they can pretend that sex is, like, way worse, and then make it about people it wasn't supposed to be about, you know what I'm saying, then they can, like, create some kind of magic or something, but you could have just done actual magic because now you just look weak. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't accomplish something. You're not strong. So, yeah. So the child on that photo was most likely just some kind of sacrifice from the band. And the reason why that one stands out and works isn't because of any form of magic, and it isn't because it's a sacrifice. It stands out and works because of how much they believed that it's not wrong to have images of children like that. And they wanted to create fan bases that are really just organized versions of, you know, people just trying to get inappropriate images of children, illegal images of children. Like, people being a part of certain fandoms can become like this slightly closeted, like, glass, it's like, the closet is made out of glass, like, everybody can see what's inside, but nobody cares, because even the people who are not a part of it can mistake it for themselves being the one who's fine with it, and not know, right? Like, you get what I'm saying, though. Like, but yeah, that's what they're trying to not be closeted about if they're fine with the album cover. They're just trying to tell you so they can find out if you're also fine with it, and then they can have, like, some organized thing where they all meet up for that or something. Probably. So, yeah, if you don't really care about when that one dude was a baby, it might not even be you who doesn't care. It might be that the album cover has that energy and is stronger than you still. Because if you're stronger, you will not be weaker than an album cover of some random band who just has an image of when some one dude was a baby. So, yeah. People just think it's important because they want the world to be less censored about this and places for people to meet up and worship the album cover. What does that mean? Not something good. They want more people to recreate this. Do they care if the people recreating it make music or not? These people are going to out themselves on a lot of stuff, and they're not going to even know if you're the one who's also in on it, because the album cover is going to trick them into believing everybody's in on it, which also means some of the people who are going to out themselves don't even agree with the beliefs they're outing themselves on. That's weird. That's crazy. The fact it's out there, there isn't like a little leaf over that, you know what I mean? I mean, even that is like exposed. They should really edit on like a whole entire like outfit. Even if it were a diaper, it would be weird. Because then you're looking at a child in a diaper. Because that's exposed. That's like underwear. That's weird. If it were a diaper or underwear instead of nothing, it would be disturbing and weird and gross because you're looking at so much skin on someone so young for such disturbing purposes, and at that point people would realize it. But the kid wearing even less makes them not realize it. Which is crazy. If the kid were wearing a onesie covered from head to toe, it would seem wrong because why is there a child on the cover who can't even agree to do this? But the child not being covered from head to toe makes people think it's fine because they can't tell when they look at the image who's really fine with it, themselves or somebody else. Like, you get what I'm saying. I feel like I'm saying the same thing, but like, it really does make me mad that that's even, like, a thing that's going out there, but it goes out there like a contagion. It's like worse than COVID. Like, try finding a person who wouldn't think it's fine. That's going to be very difficult. People want to pretend these are just, oh, it's like 1% of the world, it's the creepy people, it's only the rich people, it's whatever. How many people are just gonna scream from the rooftops that they need more album covers just like that, and that they don't really care if the people making it, like, there's something in my eye, but like, the people making it even make music, like, they don't care. Because they try to make it about the music when they try to justify it being fine. An album cover isn't really about the music that much. It's about the album cover, which is an image. Which, yeah, you can, like, you know, you're creating an experience for people, creating a world when you're combining things that normally wouldn't be combined. But, like, you get what I'm saying. That baby grew up so intelligent, I'm sure. But why would you take so many experiences and try to give them to somebody else's childhood when they're that young in the photo? Like, oh yeah, you had all these experiences when you were under a year old, but do you remember it? No, everybody else does. Like, that's weird. Whatever. You get what I'm saying. It's crazy. I'm sure there's something else we can talk about. I'm sure there's something else out there we can talk about. Let's... Wait. 1 second. Okay. Oh, nothing is going to be weighing this down that much. Let's see. How are we going to make you not fall? Okay, yeah, it's not about the weight of the bag that makes you want to fall, it's everything else. I don't know what everything else could possibly be, but everything else. I really don't know what to do. Like, I wish there were easier ways to get a doctor's note. You know, what I found out that made me mad, I found out while I was sick, which was funny. So when you do get a doctor's note, in some places, you can get this printout where you just fill it out yourself, like, oh, like, why weren't you here? You're like, I was sick, describe symptoms, whatever, from what dates you fill it out. In some places, you can do that and, like, give that to your job, and it's normal. In the state of Florida, it's a misdemeanor if they turn you in for trying to do that. That's crazy. Like, just like a little worksheet you can print out that's like, it's a misdemeanor. They're not gonna be like, get a real one, like, we don't trust that, whatever. No, they're gonna call the police because you tried. Even if you're not faking it being a real one, it's still a misdemeanor that, like, you tried to, like, fill out the little worksheet, like, oh yeah, I was sick from this date to that date. Like, if you
If you show up with that, it's a misdemeanor. Like, they can just call the police. What? That's crazy. That's crazy. That's so wild. What do you mean? Like, what does that mean? What's a misdemeanor? Do you go to jail over that? That's crazy. What? Is there like a little trial? They ask people, there's like witnesses, they're like, yes, they turned it in, they tried to like just say they were sick for a week and we didn't even have written proof from a real doctor, and like they're like crying when they like talk about all the evidence and proof and stuff, because you hurt them so much. You hurt them so badly that it's a misdemeanor. You hurt your job so badly by trying to do that. Or your school. It doesn't matter where you turn it in. Your school, your office, your place you're going, anything you want a doctor's note for or need a doctor's note for, they can just make it a misdemeanor if they just decide they don't, you know. Or maybe you're lucky and they'll just believe you. But like maybe, so you have to get a real one, which even with insurance, if you, whatever it's called, if you have like a copay or you don't or whatever, it's gonna be like $200 when you figure out what that is supposed to be about. If you get it from like a real doctor. Oh, but they can't even guarantee that they can help you. No matter what, they are pretty sure they can't help you either way. What? What? They're not sure if they can help you. They're not really sure if they can help you. They don't know. They're not sure. They're never sure. Have you ever been to an urgent care where they were completely sure whether or not they could help you? Have you? Where there was not a doubt in their mind that they could do the one thing they're existing for as a company. Interesting. So interesting. So interesting. You're just really not supposed to be able to like get the help you need and stuff. Ever. They want you to die instead. Especially if you need the help or something. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know about my job. They do think mental health days are like not real. Or at least my boss does. They do believe like, again, you need a doctor's note if you're sick, if it's not just one single day. Which now it's been 2 weeks. Now it's been, I couldn't get a doctor's note yesterday, I still have to figure out what to do. It's been 3 or 4 more days. Now I'm gonna have to go on the little telehealth appointment and be like, I am sick, when I'm not sick anymore. Or I'm just gonna lose my job. So like, now, imagine how many times in human history they've had like evidence of like symptoms because people had to tell them because they didn't have a choice. Now they think the diseases go on for way longer than they normally do. Like everybody had no choice but to admit to fake symptoms. Or they were going to like lose money or like not survive or something or not have whatever they need, right? In their lives. Like imagine though. Like what? Also, very far back in human history, there really wasn't going to be evidence of like liars. Like to the present day, right? Was the plague real at this point, dude? Or did they just have to say it for some reason and like it became a thing? Everybody decided to lie about this. It would make them look so cool to like the future people because it's not like they have phones. They have to find something to fill up their time with. I don't know. Some of it could be like not real. What? Did somebody take out a phone and like record it and have like a video of like proof? Even that you wouldn't believe because videos can be edited. It could be AI. Like, I don't even care, you know? But, I mean, about the plague, that much. It's okay. You guys can get it. You have my permission. You have, as I take out a knife, you have my permission. Everything I do is so, like, I feel like I don't realize it, but I talk about things as I'm sort of, like, doing. I got out a butter knife, and I'm like, you guys have my permission to get the flag if you feel like it. Because it wasn't gonna be about me, but I don't know. You guys have permission to get the flag as many times as you need to not be here anymore. What was that car beeping from? Ugh. They have so many purposes and so many reasons, and, like, I don't know why. Also, part of why I don't know if I want my job is because it's just about, like, car insurance. It was kind of funny because people yell at me about car insurance at my job, but I've never had a car. So I then have to be, like, the polite person who, like, not just calms down the argument, but also tells them what they need to know about their car. But I've never had a car, and I've never, like, learned that much about cars. Like, I just learned what the makes and models were doing that job. So, like, I barely know what a Nissan Altima is or whatever. I don't know what that is. But I'm gonna tell you all about it because that's my job. But I have to figure out how to get a doctor's note before I can go back there and get yelled at about cars more for some money. Oh, so funny, isn't it? The funniest. People assume that whoever is the professional at something knows about it. You know? Until you walk in somewhere, you're the professional, you know how little you know about something, but they're gonna respect you as the professional and you put on that face because that's how you get the money. Because that's where that money comes from. You know? I'm pretty sure people can't get jobs on the face of the earth that they are qualified for at this point. I don't know if I believe in that. I very much believe in the opposite, which is, how are we all alive? Everybody's headless. Everybody's a horseman. But there's not a lot of horses. Why was it never a rider with a headless horse? Wouldn't that be so much funnier? Wouldn't that be so much more intelligent? And, like, been there, done that to the headless horseman. We get to, like, have the better version, which is, why does the horse have no head, but it still knows how to walk and it still knows like where to go? Oh, do we even need a rider on the back of the horse? It can literally just be a headless horse with an imaginary rider. A ghost rides a headless horse. Like, that's funnier. Because why? Was the horse so intelligent without a head that it went and got, like, a ghost as a rider? Is the dominant one the still alive one? Is the horse considered still alive? I think the dominant one is the still alive one in any form. In any form. Even if it doesn't have a head and it still figured out how to stay alive. The fully functioning ghost person, with no issues other than the fact they're not alive, is totally the one who's, like, submissive to the situation. And what I mean by that is not sexual in any way. I meant they're just willing to do whatever they're told by the horse. That can't even talk, by the way, because it doesn't have a mouth. But I do think that's how ghosts function. There's a lot of telepathy, but they're sort of so submissive to the situation that they're willing to take orders from not only a horse, but a horse that doesn't have a head, who can't talk because it doesn't have a mouth, so the telepathic orders are so strong, they're going to listen. And the horse? Does the horse equally have telepathy, or is the telepathy imagined from the ghost? Was the horse walking around headless and, from its own perspective, seems to have manifested a ghost rider who's just there? Does the horse perceive that luck is the only way the ghost rider showed up, but the ghost rider's pretty sure it was telepathy to both of them on both sides, you know? Like, that's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, woof woof. Anyway, there's gotta be more headless horses out there without them dying. Good luck to all the horses out there. Dangerous sentences to say, right? What if somebody decides, like, that's such a good idea, we're gonna have a lot of headless horses we're just keeping alive in a laboratory. Anyway, I guess that's what I really eat, while the avocado bagel is more of like a little subliminal that, you know, you're just supposed to take it as, it makes sense that I ate something and I didn't die. Meanwhile, whatever mental experience I had while I was eating it is really the reason why I didn't die. I'm not thinking anything, it's just funny because now you think that I meant literally while I'm physically eating it, but I was actually talking about like before I ate it, while I was like preparing it, but yeah, I don't know. You're not thinking that. I do kind of hate how messy it is, though. Like, love and hate? I don't know. I think about what it does to the spirit of a person eating messy food, because they just wash their hands after and it's like not on their hands anymore, but like, when you think about the entire experience, the chaos and the gravity of it, it's like, your spirit is then experiencing not just that much chaos, but like you wash your hands off and it's like not there anymore and it's like this weird, I don't know. You know what I mean? You see how messy you can be before you see how clean you can be, and that's disturbing to think about. I don't know why, but it feels mentally disturbing to think about. Freaky. I like this haircut on me. I like it because I can do album covers with different hair than I had last time. That's why I like it. But I feel like the album is also going to be different because of the way it affects my mind differently to have like different hair, you know? Which I guess now you know, now that I explained all of that to you, if you watched the whole thing. Now you understand why my hair being different would change. Well, I guess we got order of operations down, because I was just telling you all that. I didn't really think it was gonna come to that conclusion, but there we are. Is it weird to anybody else we got all the Diddy and Epstein information around the same time? Like in all of the history of the planet. I know they were like related in the sense they like met each other before. But obviously everything they chose to do was related. in a lot of ways. But, like, isn't it weird still, even though they've met each other before, but, like, or they were a little bit, like, acquaintances or something? I mean, they knew what each other did, I'm sure, but I think they had different styles of events or parties. So I think that Epstein wanting to make sex bad as much as possible is not the same thing as Diddy wanting to make human trafficking completely okay to everybody. Like, those are sort of weirdly opposites, even though they ended up doing the same actions a lot of the time, right? So I don't think cannibalism was that big with Diddy. I don't know if he's ever experienced that, but I'm saying with Epstein, I think that was a very big theme. So, I mean, I wasn't there, so how would I know? But you get what I'm saying. Then again, it's like, obviously, children being involved in either one means they were pretty much doing the same thing, like physical actions. But Epstein had this very weak spiritual thing going on where he thought that he could cause himself to be more dominant spiritually by doing whatever he was doing, which was trying to brainwash himself into thinking that sex was bad, which means that he thought that it was like, I don't know. He had some weird thing going on. He couldn't convince himself it was like a bad thing, but that was like what he wanted to do, which obviously, I don't know. It was just very weak, obviously. But people who want to be abusers, I guess, are just weak people. So, I don't know. It kind of brings out the idea that the concept of cultural appropriation, if people perceived it in the right way, it would be that the weaker spirits just hitting copy and paste, doing what the stronger spirits are doing, doesn't do anything. It just doesn't upgrade them by a lot. So, people really are just making being less likely to be upgraded by having an experience an offense that they want you to be able to go to jail for, which is a weird paradox. It takes a while to even think about what that meant, to be honest. But they just want being a weaker spirit but admiring stronger spirits to be a crime that you could go to jail for or die over, which is a really interesting way to perceive any aspect of the human experience. But, you know. But then it adds in the weird, like, is it possibly religious in any way to try to make cultural appropriation more wrong? Because what if it's really about, like, oh, they're spreading the fact that other religions have ever existed, and that's not the most white thing to do right now, apparently. You know, it kind of turns into that very fast. Wait, what? Finding out that the other cultures have ever existed is not the most white thing to do, because the most white thing to do would actually be the most, like, mainstream Christian or something religious thing to do. Would be, like, to be white in every way, especially if they are white. They wouldn't want to ruin that by admiring other cultures, is kind of what cultural appropriation is trying to do. But they try to make it more wrong in so many ways by bringing in the concept of, like, well, if somebody like Epstein would do cultural appropriation, that would be terrible, right? You guys are gonna be like, why would you think cultural appropriation's fine? I'm not saying I think it's fine. I'm saying I don't think it's the same thing. If other people do it, then if, like, Epstein does it, but that's what people try to combine and make, like, equal. There are people who cannot find any way to say that the sex involving children is bad. So those people try to make it about something else. And they try to make it about spiritual stuff. They're like, whoa, they can't figure out how to say cannibalism is bad, so they try to make it into a spiritual ritual, and that's what they demonize. They don't know how to say, maybe eating children is bad. They don't know how to say that. So they say, whoa, they even try to make it into some spiritual ritual and stuff. Ew, we don't know what that is. That's so scary. If somebody does that, like, isn't that bad? They want you to agree with it, that that's the bad part. But, like, they can't, it's so hard for them to say, maybe eating children is bad. Maybe it's wrong. Can you imagine? Maybe it's wrong. Maybe Epstein knew that other cultures existed. They're like, oh, he seemed pretty white to me. Why would he know about that? Why would he know other cultures existed? In a conversation about eating children's dead bodies. What? He wasn't trying to be more white. We should demonize that. He, like, showed you evidence of eating a dead body? Right, the sex involving children was, like, not bad to them. The part that was bad to them. What? He found out another culture existed. What should we do? Part of why I'm openly saying that is because I'm gonna look at the people who think that I'm completely wrong about that part. Like, they're stupid, because, again, which religion he was willing to say he was a part of or something is more important to you than cannibalism, eating children, or sex involving children. What? Oh, the fact he found out other cultures existed is so bad, because what if he believes in that God? What if he tells other people to? Oh no. What? What? That's where you're at? That's what you, like, believe is, like, right and wrong, and you're willing to admit it in front of other people because it's so true to you that that's what it is, and you're trying to find the other ones who believe in that. What? 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 It's kind of wild, dude. It's kind of wild. Anyway. This has been such a fun video. Like, it's honestly gonna be one of my favorite ones I've ever done. So I'm glad I cut my hair like that, even though I know it looks so funny right here. It actually looks like I give myself layers. It just looks like because it's curly, they, like, curled unevenly, which is another way that I kind of get away with having, like, a bad haircut, but it's not really bad. I just think it's funny to say that it's a bad haircut, because saying it's a bad haircut is the part that I feel uncomfortable with, not the haircut. So I'm leaning into that, because I think sometimes when you're an artist creating so many albums, you almost want to say the next thing that you don't know if you feel comfortable saying. So you can kind of be like, what would be the, but you're like, I have so many morals, like, hypothetically, even if I broke them all, you wouldn't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can think it's morally wrong to, like, type with the wrong grammar somehow from your own perspective, and then be like, oh, but if I broke that moral, like, that wouldn't actually be bad. Okay, on to the next one. Oh, well, what if the people in the room I'm addressing are not these exact people, but they're somebody else? Like, oh, would that morally be weird? Would it be bad? What am I going to say to them? You have so many rules. And then you're like, well, if I broke them, what would they be? What do they turn into? Like, you kind of, I don't know. Yeah. But I have so much to say and so many things are happening. I'm like, how cool would it be if I integrated this idea and that idea and that idea and I don't know, into like who I am, but then at the same time when I release something that's like doesn't have any singing on it, right? It's kind of like an instrumental. I feel like the image is like if I just open my mouth, it's like that's what comes out. That's what I'm saying. You know? I picture it as it's still me, like if I open my mouth, that's what's coming out. Like as if I'm still talking, I'm still singing, I'm still saying something. But instead of I open my mouth and like the song of like lyrics comes out, it's like I open my mouth and like this instrumental comes out because it's all I had to say. It's all I chose to say in the moment. Like that's how I picture that, which is hilarious to me. Which is part of why I wanted to add like little instrumentals to like all of my albums. I haven't got through all of them yet, like adding those, but I find that so fun to say as if it's, you know, but it's like a part of like self-expression, but it's like you're not only decorated in your self-expression. If anything, you're more likely to be sort of decorated in other people's self-expression of what you seem to be, like in culture, in the world, right? Like if somebody does your nails, for example, unless you do your own, but you sort of, people pay for that, but you do it, but it's like, you know what I mean? You're decorated in somebody else's perception of you in a way. Even though you kind of choose like the nail color and stuff and the general like style, but they do it. So like they're sort of decorating you in what they want you to look like. For their own personal gain, but like they're decorating you in what they want you to look like. So, you know. It's like what they want. But like when you create your own artwork, that is your self-expression, so it's like your voice. It's not just in the moment where you're decorated in somebody else's voice in a way. Which is fine. But like when you create your own, it kind of does something different. So I find it fun. I don't know. But that's kind of, this is going to be a long video because this clip is like 47 minutes. I don't know how long the other one was, but I'm going to end it now. I love you guys. Bye. Goodbye.